called you back, I was upset.
You either want me to leave?
And you still think I want to leave me over what? I don't understand why you're giving up on me when I should be giving up on you.
Okay, but then why didn't you, Sophie? I mean, you can't just be in limbo with Rob forever. If you weren't gonna break up with him, then you've left him no choice but to break up with you. Only that seems to be incredibly difficult for Sophie to stomach.
I'm sorry. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm sorry, Rob.
Sophie's emotions are all over the place, but before we dive into them, let's just rewind to the beginning. So we left the pair after Rob finally made the decision to end things. Now, we all know that that's the best decision for both of them. Rob seems to know it too now, but can someone also give that memo to Sophie, please?
After I leave, I drive halfway home and Sophie's calling me, begging me to come back. So here I am again, going back to Kay's, and I'm very exhausted by this situation.
So after refusing to listen to his prepared statement and storming off, after letting her BFF Kay scream at him and call him all sorts of names, now Sophie's begging Rob to come back so that they can actually talk. But please explain to me why after asking him to come back, Sophie is still refusing to talk.
Sophie, you asked me to come back here. Why?
Sophie's clearly in a state of shock. She's not sure whether this breakup is for real or it's just a joke. Part of her seems to think that this is a test from Rob. Maybe Rob's pushing her, trying to get an understanding to how she'd react if it were to be true, if he were to break up with her. But what Sophie seems to be having the most issue with is the fact that it's Rob who's breaking up with her. Like, she just can't wrap her head around that fact. In her eyes, she feels like she's done absolutely nothing wrong in this relationship. She genuinely doesn't seem to think that he has any reason to break up with her.
After all the things I've been through, like the online cheating, I've moved country and life for him, my mum doesn't like him, my friends don't like him, I still stayed with him, I've given him so many chances, and now he's the one breaking up with me.
Exactly, Sophie. Why haven't you left Rob yet? He's actually doing you a favour. Look, the truth is, Rob may have ruined this relationship with his actions, but Sophie has ruined them with her inaction. She seems to have frozen. She's paralysed by fear or something. Like, she's scared to leave him, but she's also, by her own admission, deeply unhappy with him. So what's resulted is complete chaos. It's unsustainable. Both of them are just stuck in this state of limbo.
I should have left you.
So is that what this is about? You wish you would have just left me?
No, I'm saying I don't understand why I'm willing to try still and you're not for what?
But you aren't willing to try.
This idea of trying is where both of these two are constantly misunderstanding each other. Rob sees Sophie moving out of home as not trying, whereas Sophie sees the fact that she's still even in this relationship as her very much trying. But, come on, Sophie. What you've got going on here might technically be called a marriage, but it just isn't. It's not a healthy one. I mean, she has to do a lot more than just be in a marriage in order for it to actually work out.
If you don't even want to try a last time, then bye then. Bye. Have a good life.
I don't want to keep trying and getting nowhere.
Rob's just exhausted, physically and mentally exhausted. You can see it in his body as he leaves. And I get it. I mean, if I'm this exhausted just watching these two go back and forth and never getting anywhere, then I can't imagine what kind of nightmarish existence it would actually be living it. But thankfully, Rob is very clear on where he stands. He feels like Sophie doesn't actually love him, like she doesn't actually want to fix things. So he's ready to move on. He's not prepared to live like this any longer, and you can't blame him. But as for Sophie, well, she seems to just be lost.
He's done with me, so it is what it is. It's just like a head for me because I woke up thinking we was fine.
Sorry, but what planet is Sophie living on? They're living in separate houses. She didn't even celebrate his birthday with him. How on earth does she think that they're fine? Like, this just shows how out of touch she is. Sophie doesn't have any idea what she wants or even how she feels. She really doesn't seem to have a clear grasp of what's going on in her relationship. And that seems to be why this has come as such a shock to her.
Sophie, no. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose. No, you're gonna have an anxiety attack.
Sophie's heart is racing 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we already know that she suffers from anxiety. Kay seems very concerned that she might be about to have a panic attack. I need some fresh air, Sophie says as she frantically walks out of the apartment. And then, while we don't have the visuals for it, we do hear her frantically asking the show's producers where Rob is. And the next thing we know, although again there's no footage of this, we do have the audio of a very, very panic-stricken Sophie pleading with Rob in his car. Sophie might be crying and apologising, but for what? Like, I don't even think she knows what she's saying sorry for at this point. But clearly, in the privacy of Rob's car, away from the cameras, it seems like the pair are finally able to have an honest conversation about the state of their relationship. Like, I think that's a very interesting insight. Like, it's very interesting how they seem to be very different when they're not in front of the camera, when they don't think that they're being filmed. Now, keep that in mind because it again pops up later on. But for now, Rob is left gently trying to explain to Sophie why it is that he feels they're on totally different pages.
All I've wanted is for me to be able to be around you.
I'm not happy around you.
If you're not happy around me, then you probably shouldn't be with me.
No, because you can be nice.
Look, it couldn't be clearer that Rob is right. Sophie's acting like this is her very first relationship. She's acting like a 16-year-old who's terrified to split up with her boyfriend. Like, she's clinging on to him, she's willing to accept things that make her unhappy because she doesn't seem convinced that she can actually do better. But, Sophie, that is not a reason to stay in an unhappy marriage. And Rob is truly baffled by Sophie's behaviour. He can't understand how it is that she just didn't see this coming.
What's going on upstairs that you come running out here, get in the car, have a panic attack? As many times as I've said I can't do this, I don't feel loved, what do you expect?
Sophie's been caught by surprise because she doesn't actually listen to Rob when he's talking. What he says never seems to be what she wants to hear. All that she ever wants from Rob seems to be apologies. She just wants to keep hearing his empty promises that he'll change. And Sophie actually proves this point entirely when literally minutes later she once again shows that she doesn't hear a thing that Rob is actually saying.
I'm not trying to make you the bad guy, but you have to be honest with yourself about what...
I think I'm the bad guy in this relationship.
I'm just talking
Do you
about
think
this
so?
moment.
No, Sophie, Rob literally just said that he's not trying to make you the bad guy. But somehow all Sophie heard from that is that she's the bad guy. Like, she wants to clarify, she wants to be absolutely clear that she's not the bad guy and he is. But it's just so frustrating, like all they seem to do is go round and round in circles. And eventually, Sophie demands that yet again, Rob comes back to Kay's apartment.
Talk to me inside because I need water. I need water. My feet are disgusting.
The fact that Sophie's barefoot here just shows how desperate, how frantic she was when she chased him in the pouring rain, trying to prevent him from leaving. She's hoping that by bringing the conversation back inside, by telling him how stressed she feels, maybe he'll have some sympathy for her, maybe he'll go easy on her. But when they get back inside, Rob's position hasn't changed.
Sophie, this is a marriage isn't one person is always wrong and the other person's always right. Like, what don't you get about that?
It's me. Is
Are
it
you-
me?
see,
Ask
are-
me.
see
Is
this?
it me?
And there she goes again, not listening. Rob's trying to say that it's not just one person that disintegrates a marriage. Both of them have a part to play. But somehow, Sophie interprets this as Rob just blaming her. Like, you just can't make up this level of dysfunction. It's like they're talking totally different languages to each other. If ever we needed a reminder of just how bad their communication is, well, this is it.
This attitude that you have?
Like, I our relationship up. It was
You're
me.
not trying to understand where I'm
It was
coming
me.
from. No,
because
I
I
am
don't
not
care.
blaming
If you
you.
think that, leave
I am
already.
not blaming you.
Sophie absolutely can't comprehend the fact that she may have had a part to play in this breakup. That prospect seems completely alien to her. Like, all she wants is for Rob to take full responsibility. She seems to expect him to get down on his hands and knees and thank her for sticking with him. Only Rob's tired of this. He's tired of apologising and he's tired of just going round and round in circles. So we're left at the point where, once again, for the third time now, Rob is being kicked out again.
I just feel like we're at a stalemate.
Okay, then it's leaving. Let's leave it. Cool. I'm not. Bye.
Look, this is what I meant when I said they seem to be different people in front of camera and away from the camera. Like, in the car, when there was no camera crew, it was Sophie repeatedly saying, I'm sorry, Rob. But just look at her now. Look at how now she absolves herself from any responsibility. Where's that attitude now? Where are those sorries now? Like, not only does she not want to accept that she's played a part in the breakdown of their marriage, but the same person who frantically ran to his car to talk to him, who invited him back to the apartment to talk to him, now, minutes later, no longer wants to talk. Just leave, she says, which is typically her move. She's normally the one that always leaves.
I called you back.
You either
I was
wanna-
upset.
you either
to
want me to leave?
And you still think I want to leave me over what? I don't understand why you're giving up on me when I should be giving up on you.
And there it is. Look, Sophie's just revealed it all in one sentence. She genuinely seems to have this attitude that Rob should be grateful to her for still being with him. But I'm sorry, no marriage in the world can work when there's that kind of feeling of superiority, of inequality. Look, the truth is, we all know Rob has fucked up in the past. He's fucked up really bad. Some of the stuff that we've seen about Rob, stuff that wasn't on the show but has been released on social media, widely available on social media, it's the kind of thing that I will never, ever, ever condone. I can never support or like a man that's verbally abusive, a man that threatens physical violence to his wife. Like, that is completely unacceptable. That makes him a piece of shit in my eyes. But, and it's an important point, Sophie's no angel either. She can't keep stringing him along like this. She can't keep wanting the best of both worlds. If you can't move on from what he's done, Sophie, then you need to let it go.
If you're actually trying to leave me, you're gonna see when you're depressed forever and every bitch you ever tried to date is way worse than me.
You're gonna see I wasn't that bad, Rob.
Yeah, if you ever forgot that there was an age gap between Rob and Sophie, then it's never been clearer than at this moment. Rob's trying, right? He's trying his best to have a civil conversation about this breakup. Yet Sophie is acting like a little child. She's telling him he'll be depressed forever and throwing gifts at his face.
Leave!
You want me to leave?
Take the squishmallow. Actually, I want the squishmallow. I want that, actually.
Yeah, that cuddly toy, for those who've forgotten, was a gift from Rob. It was an apology for the disastrous night with Sophie's mum. I can understand that she's upset. I understand that she's embarrassed about this breakup. But Sophie's behaviour is just kind of pathetic at this point. So after Rob's numerous attempts to explain himself, it's obvious that nothing has actually sunk in for Sophie.
And it just feels like I gave him so many chances and he left me anyway. I feel stupid.
Stupid. I don't understand.
Sophie's still adamant that she's the victim. She has nothing to apologise for. I'm the one that should be ending things with him, she's repeatedly said. But if that's how she felt, she should have done it ages ago. It would have saved us all a lot of grief.